to Mechabellum, Commanders. In this tactical auto-battler, you will be in charge of your mech army whilst making it stronger round after round. Mechabellum's different game modes all share the same core mechanic, where each round you have a deployment phase to build your army, followed up by an automated battle phase. For each battle phase you win, you will do HP damage to your opponent. And if one of you drops below 0 HP, the battle will be over, declaring a winner. The purpose of this video will be to explain the basics of the game, so you too can claim victory on the battlefield. To do this, we'll be starting with the most important part of Mechabellum, and arguably the coolest too, its units. With over 30 units to choose from, the Mechabellum roster can look quite daunting at first. However, don't worry, as you will familiarize yourself with them quickly if you know about the core unit roles in this game. In Mechabellum, there are 3 core unit roles that counter each other, similar to how rock, paper, scissors work. Chaff units counter carry units, which counter chaff clear units meant to deal with chaff. In the chaff role, you will find crawlers, fangs, and wasps. Their purpose is to distract enemy carries from hitting your important units, while simultaneously buying time for your carries to deal their damage. The units that are meant to deal with chaff are called chaff clear and include the Arclight, Hound, Tarantula, Wraith, and Vulcan. Their role is to get rid of small units as fast as possible and clear the way for the carries. Now, this brings us to the most exciting units, the damage dealers, which include the Marksman, Void Eye, Phoenix, Sabertooth, Stormcaller, and Scorpion for the early game. In addition, almost all giants can be a viable carry in the late game. Now, with the core roles explained, we'd like to introduce 2 bonus roles that will help you understand the game at a deeper level. These would be tanks and anti-air. Tanks have some overlap with the chaff role as they try to protect more vulnerable units on your board. You will typically want to buy tanks to counter chaff clear units and boards with few carry units. In the tank category, you will find Sledgehammer, Steel Ball, Rhino, Fortress, Sandworm, and War Factory. Finally, it may be useful to know which units can help you deal with those pesky flying mechs. For anti-air, your best option will be Marksman, Phoenix, Mustang, and Farseer. A brief description of each unit alongside their stats and technologies can be found in the unit modification screen. Any successful army will need a good balance of at least chaff, chaff clear, and a carry. Whenever you're unsure about what units to purchase during a round, try to identify which core roles your army has covered and which one needs some help. So, how do we actually play the game? At the start of every match, you will be offered a choice from 4 starting packs. These packs will feature a specialist that grants you a unique starting bonus as well as 2 sets of units to get your army started. Don't be afraid to try them all out and find which of the specialists and opening units suit your playstyle. Once you've made your choice, the match will begin and you'll be in charge of building the foundations of your army. Every starting pack will set you up with 2 core unit roles, and it will be up to you to identify which core role you're missing. Doing this, and buying the missing role on round 1 will generally set you up for success, whilst helping you get familiar with unit roles. You'll find your unlocked units in the bottom right of the screen and have the option to unlock 1 new unit every round. As for unit placement, you will find a recommended formation button on round 1 to give you some inspiration if needed. After you've bought your units, click on this button to choose one of the 3 options. In Mechabellum, playing around the towers is often called standard or defensive. If you see units positioned near the middle of the battlefield, that would be called aggro. Protecting your towers is critical, since their destruction will cause a heavy debuff to unit damage, speed, and damage taken over 9 seconds. Aggro Aggro armies try to leverage this by placing closer to the opponent, but this does make army and towers vulnerable too. Standard players will often spend some time reacting to what their opponent is doing while having a safer army in the long run. Both playstyles are perfectly viable, it really all comes down to preference. Worthy of note is the flanks, which can be used from round 2 onwards. They can offer great distraction to your opponent, but try not to overinvest in them too much. Once you're happy with your setup, click End Deployment and watch the first battle phase unfold. As the game progresses, you will get more and more resources to spend during each deployment phase. Try and pay close attention to what your opponent is building and counter with a corresponding unit. So, if your opponent just purchased wasps, try to get some mustangs on the board. Or, if you see nothing but crawlers, try a wraith or a vulcan. If you feel like your army has gotten everything covered, buying chaff is never a bad idea. You can always wait for free unit drops to give you some of the bigger units in the game. Of course, unlocking and buying units won't be the only actions you can take. As your units participate in battle, they will build up experience until they're ready to level up. Each time a unit levels, it will become more powerful, gaining its level 1 stats for half the purchase price. It's a powerful mechanic to boost your army strength, but keep in mind that leveled units will also give more experience to the enemy when taken down. For this reason, it is recommended not to level chaff, as they will serve their purpose no matter their level. Aside from leveling, units can also become more powerful through techs. Each unit can only take a limited amount of techs into battle, and you'll be able to find and assign these in the Unit Modification tab. Don't worry, however, because even though the tech page can be overwhelming, almost all techs in the game are viable. If you just started your Mechabellum journey, then don't pay it too much attention and simply play what is most fun to you. Clicking a tech in game will make a unit much stronger and apply to all units of that type. It's a big commitment that cannot be undone, which is why it is often better left until the mid game or once you have a good amount of unit deployments on the board. This also means that you typically want to avoid role overlap between your units, so that you can maximize the value from teching a single one. So if your choice of carry is going to be marksman, try not to buy and tech phoenixes also. If you're unsure how to spend your resources in the early game, then leveling units is generally better. If you do want to grab a tech, then range is often a safe first option. Aside from making choices during a deployment round, you will also have to make a decision at the start of each round because of cards. To make sure every game is different from the last, you'll be offered a choice of 4 cards at the start of every round. The same options will be shown to your opponent, and they may include spells, items, permanent buffs, unit variants, and free units. Spells in Mechabellum are cards that can give you an advantage during a round before they go on cooldown. For example, you may call an orbital bombardment to help take out enemy units, or drop a rhino in the enemy backline to take down their towers. Spells are very powerful in most situations, but they do have a price tag which is worth considering if you have other plans. Items can enhance your units in a variety of ways and are often worth picking up if not too expensive. Try to put them on your pivotal units, such as main chaff clear or carry. Keep in mind, however, that the only way to retrieve an item is by selling the unit carrying it, so choose wisely. You will also find a set of permanent buffs among the cards, granting you bonus resources, deployments, or stats every round. Picking them can give you a crucial advantage, but they're best picked early in the match to maximize their value. Unit variants are a fun way to change the functionality of your units during a game, but not a requirement for success. If one of them piques your interest, feel free to try them out to spice up your army. And this brings us to the most important card options, the unit drops. Once every 3 rounds, you will be offered a selection of unit reinforcements to strengthen your army. These cards allow you to diversify the board or start a comeback if you were previously struggling. All players are given the same options, so you can make an educated guess on what the opponent will pick. By now, you will probably have noticed that there is more to the battlefield than units. Both players have 2 towers on their side of the field and a device tab that sells a variety of technologies. To start with, towers serve a purpose both during the deployment phase and battle phase. In battle, they will debuff their armies for a limited time when they're destroyed, briefly giving the opponent a massive advantage. If you're struggling to keep your towers alive, you can upgrade them to make them tankier and give less of a debuff when they fall. During the deployment phase, you will be able to purchase a variety of permanent and temporary benefits from them. The left tower is known as the Command Center and sells single round benefits. The Command Center will allow you to take a loan, buy additional deployment, recruit units at level 2, or gain temporary speed and range. As a rule of thumb, loaning should only be done from round 7 onwards, and the same applies to temporary range and speed. As for the right tower, it is called the Research Center and sells permanent benefits. Here, you will find the oil, field recovery, and mobile beacon spells. Oil is helpful when dealing with an aggressive opponent to slow down their units, while the mobile beacon allows an aggro player to redirect their army. The field recovery spell is generally useful as it allows you to sell a unit if it has served its purpose. Finally, the right tower also sells attack and defense enhancement for your entire army. It is recommended to grab the first enhancement before round 5, with the second ones being optional in the late game. This leaves the device tab, which sells shields, sentry missiles, and missile interceptors every round. Shields will allow you to protect your army from enemy units and spells, while sentry missiles can kill enemy units and interceptors will take down a variety of enemy missiles. It is noteworthy that devices will replenish if not taken down during a round. While devices can be extremely useful, they can harm your economy if purchased too early. Try not to make use of these devices before round 4 so that you can invest in your army as much as possible. Alright, with this we've covered Mechabellum's core mechanics. If you feel a little overwhelmed, then don't worry. You don't need to remember all of this, as you will familiarize yourself with the information while playing. You can always come back to parts of this video if necessary. As a final word of advice, let's summarize the most important tips that we went through. First, make sure your army always has at least 3 core unit roles. That is, chaff, chaff clear, and a carry. Second, unit deployments are limited each round, so try not to skip them and keep growing your army. Third, prioritize unit levels over tech upgrades before round 5, but don't level your small units. Fourth, try to avoid unit role overlap so that you can get full value from tech upgrades. Permanent stat enhancements are good to get before round 5, while temporary buffs as well as loaning ideally shouldn't be done before round 7. And finally, pay close attention to what happens in battle. Observing, reacting, and adapting to your opponent will be crucial to your success. Now go on, Commander, and best of luck on the battlefield.